This afternoon at approximately 12:36 p.m., officers of the Sebring Police Department and the Highlands County Sheriff's Office responded to a bank located at 1901 U.S. Highway 27 South after a subject contacted our Consolidated Dispatch Center and said that he had entered the bank and began shooting.
We were outside the bank where this horrific scene took place where at least 5 people were murdered.
A local headline, George, summing up both those shootings, senseless.
It's a quiet lunchtime at this local branch of SunTrust, Sebring, Florida. The image of a masked gunman storming into a bank is frequent enough in the movies, but no one ever expects they'll be put in that same terrifying situation in real life. But 5 unsuspecting women, working or running errands at the bank, are about to be trapped inside a nightmare.
We now know the FBI is on the way to the scene.
We should have been gone in. I don't know.
A man in a bulletproof vest has entered the bank, ordered the employees to lock the doors, and opened fire. Now the police are trying to negotiate his surrender. But what is he doing there? Is this an attempted bank robbery or something more disturbing and harder to understand? Here on the Decoder, with exclusive dashcam footage, audio interviews, and full-length access to the killer's 911 call, this is the twisted story of Zephen Xaver. Sebring is a small city, population 12,000 in the heart of Florida, known for its picturesque lakeside views and its sports car racing facility, a huge draw for motor enthusiasts. Its violent crime rate is a little way above the national median, as 5.1 per 1,000 residents. Still, when most of us think of violent crime happening in real life, we imagine a mugging gone wrong. We don't immediately think about a bank robbery. But this is what Anna Pignon-Williams finds herself facing when she clocks in for work at the SunTrust Bank in Sebring on January 23, 2019. She's 38, originally from Mexico. She first came to the U.S. when she was 12 and grew up in nearby Okeechobee. She's only been working at the bank for a few weeks, working hard to train as a bank teller to support her 7 children. Her brother-in-law worked for the Highlands County Sheriff's Office, but on that afternoon, no connection to law enforcement could protect her when a man with a gun stepped through the door. He's already been seen waiting suspiciously in the parking lot. One customer came into the bank at lunchtime because she'd been locked out of her account. As she was parking, she noticed a white male sitting in his car, not moving. She went into the bank and talked to the head teller, Marisol Lopez, the 55-year-old mother of 2 adult kids. When this witness came out of the bank at 12:30, the man in the car was still sitting there. They made eye contact, and she remembers finding it strange that he was just sitting there, alone, not doing anything, watching the bank with his hands on the steering wheel, almost like he's waiting for something. She describes him as a white male, kind of chunky, round face, brown hair, no glasses. She says he's wearing a tan shirt. But she has no real reason to suspect him of anything. She walks away to her next appointment, and it's only later, when the invasion of the bank hits the news, that she realizes she just saw the face of a killer. That killer's name is Zephen Xaver. 21 years old and armed with a 9mm handgun and a bulletproof vest. Just minutes later, at around 12:35, he walks into the bank. One teller, Benjamin Vizikovsky, is on his lunch break in the back. He's eating and watching YouTube videos on his phone. And when he hears 2 loud bangs from the front of the building, at first it doesn't register what they are. They sound like firecrackers, until reality hits. Gunshots. Benjamin runs. He makes it out, but the others aren't as lucky. Zephen's now alone in the lobby with Anna and Marisol, as well as their fellow tellers, 54-year-old Deborah Cook and 31-year-old Jessica Montague. Jessica is the mother of 3 young children. Deborah, too, is a mother and also a grandmother, dedicated to supporting her youngest son through his struggles with alcoholism. There's also a customer in the lobby, Cynthia Watson, aged 65, Also a mother and grandmother, Cynthia had a storied career working at the Kennedy Space Center. She'd played a vital role there, and she was the one to tell the families of astronauts in the Challenger disaster what had happened to their loved ones. She'd just got married to the man she considered her soulmate only 2 weeks prior. Each of these women has a story, a family, a life. But today, Zephen Xaver isn't interested in any of that. Moments after entering the bank, he opens fire. It's not the sound of gunshots that alerts the police to what's happening inside the bank, however.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, I'm at the SunTrust in Sebring. I just killed 5 people.
It's the shooter himself. At 12:36 p.m., he calls the police on himself.
Well, technically about to be 6. If you didn't think I could do it, but
Why did you do that?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I thought that I could. I've wanted to ever since I remember.
You wanted to do it?
Yep, and here we are.
When someone targets a bank, the first thought is usually robbery. Killing is an unfortunate side effect. But Zephen tells the dispatcher that on the contrary, the killing is the point.
I'm getting ready to kill myself too. I've wanted to die since I was 9. I wanted to kill since I was 11.
What is your name?
Not important. You can find it on my body.
The dispatcher immediately gets word to local patrol cars, who assemble a perimeter around the bank outside. But Zephen has locked the doors, and this is still a hostage situation.
Is anybody else still breathing now?
I can only hear the one, and it's getting very ragged.
Then he amends that.
2 people I can still see breathing. It's free to go in the door, but if anyone comes back here.
2 of the women are still breathing, but barely. It's unknown who. They need urgent medical attention, but Zephen is armed and dangerous.
Did you unlock the door?
No. And I am not going to unlock the door. I don't know what I'll do.
He's dangerous not only to the surviving hostages, but to himself.
Are you comfortable talking with a negotiator? Would you be comfortable with that?
If the negotiator puts a bullet in my head, then sure.
No, we don't want to do that, sir. We want to help you. For them to help the victims, we really need you to put the gun down. Because in order for them to come in, you've got to put the gun down, okay? We really want to help.
Outside, the assembled cops are ready and waiting to move in.
I got eyes on the back door. Stay on my 6. Stay on my 6. Stay as close as you can to the trees. Get in here. We need to keep eyes on that door at all times. Keep an eye on that. If anything happens, my tourniquet is in the back.
It's the kind of standoff that can only be resolved by an experienced hostage negotiator. But there's a ticking clock, with 3 dead and 2 more on the brink of dying. And Zephen isn't being cooperative. The dispatcher tries to learn more about him, but he won't even tell her his name. What he does tell her is that he recently quit his job as a corrections officer at nearby Avon Park Prison.
So you didn't talk to your mom today. Did you see her in the last week since you quit your job? She knew you quit your job, right?
No.
Oh, why didn't you tell your mom you quit your job?
Zephen doesn't have an answer for her. Is this what's triggered his explosion of violence? The pressure of keeping his recent unemployment a secret from his mom? The dispatcher can only speculate. In the background of the call, her supervisor urges her to focus on the victims.
Can you check on the victims for me?
No. I don't want to leave the room because I don't know what I'll do when I see them.
It's almost like Zephen doesn't feel in control of what he's doing. Or else it's a threat. At a certain point, the police officers in charge of the scene will have to make a decision. Do they send SWAT in anyway, accepting that negotiation has failed and brute force is the only recourse they have left that might save the lives of the 2 surviving victims? Or do they try to save Zephen's life as well? It's a delicate balancing act. And there's something at play here that makes it even more delicate.
Why did you go to the SunTrust Bank today?
So I could do that. I've been getting told to kill people since I was probably 11 years old.
Who has been telling you to kill people since you were 11?
Myself, down the voices in my head,
Where is the gun right now?
up against my head.
Please, sir, can you put the gun down?
Zephen claims to be hearing voices. He says these voices are the reason he's homicidal and suicidal. This calls for a more experienced negotiator. At length, he agrees to speak to a deputy over the phone. The deputy, who introduces himself as Chris, tries to establish a rapport. He calls Zephen, who still refuses to give his real name, Jack, and he asks him more about these voices.
Well, who's telling you to put the gun to your head? Is it you or the voices?
All of them.
Well, who's stronger? Are you stronger or the voices stronger?
I don't know. I would imagine the voices. I mean, what I just did.
Well, we got to talk about how you can become stronger than those voices.
Chris suggests they talk in person, but Zephen just repeats that the voices get louder when he takes the gun away from his head.
I'm going to keep talking to you if it's okay.
I don't know how long that's going to be, though. My phone is 15%.
When your phone goes out, I'm going to call the bank, and it's going to be me, okay? Now, the number, if there's a caller ID, will probably show sheriff's office, or it might even come up blank, but I promise you it's going to be me, Chris, okay? I don't want that to scare you. I just want you to talk to me. Would you be willing to come to the front door and unlock it and come out with your hands up so we can get you some help and save those people? Would you do that for us?
I don't know what they'll do if anybody else. Voices.
When they get briefly disconnected due to some technical glitch on the line, the whole department holds its breath. It's at moments like these that a killer like Zephen can snap, and any chance they have of saving the victims who are still breathing could be snatched away. Thankfully, they get reconnected. Chris takes the opportunity to establish trust through safer ground. He asks Zephen about his life and his hobbies, and Zephen says he used to wrestle in high school. This is also a clever way of learning more about the kind of man SWAT will be facing if they do break into the bank.
What was your weight class?
185.
So you're a pretty good-sized guy then if you're wrestling at 185. Now, are you like me after you get out of high school? You gained a bunch of weight, or?
I gained weight, but I never really got heavy.
That's good. So you consider yourself healthy, not heavy.
Well, I mean, I'm not in shape or anything, but...
Yeah. Well, when you get married, it gets worse. You get heavier, especially if you marry a lady that can cook.
I'm not getting married.
You're not going to get married? Why is that?
I'm broken.
Well, maybe right now, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't be repaired.
Through empathy and sharing personal details, Chris is finally getting through to him.
Do you think you're ready to talk to somebody? Or you can talk to me in person if you like. I'll come over there. It'll take me 5 minutes to drive there. What do you think?
All I know is you out there.
And I'm going to tell you something on the phone that's only about me, like a code word, because you and I are the only ones on the phone, and I'll describe me to a T.
It's taken well over an hour, but he's managed to get Zephen to trust him enough to consent to walking out of the bank on his own steam.
Watch as a SWAT team in Central Florida rams right into this SunTrust bank.
SWAT rams a truck through the front doors, but they don't come in to get him. Zephen must go out to them.
So in a few seconds, we're going to talk about you walking out that front door. Okay, count to 10. Go ahead and put the phone down, count to 10, and then start out the front door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Zephen does as he's told. He puts his gun down, as well as his knife, and he walks out with his hands up. But it's too late. By this time, there are no survivors. Cynthia Watson, Marisol Lopez, Jessica Montague, Deborah Cook, and Anna Pignon Williams are all dead. This is a tragic result, there's a feeling of frustration as the cops tidy up the scene.
One of those trees to that pole. I ain't gonna lie though, that SWAT thing's pretty cool. They should have been in there faster though. We should have been in there sooner than we were. We should have just went in, because you don't know how many people. Active shooter. It's an active fucking shooter.
The cops think they waited too long to go into the bank. Significant is the possibility that not all the doors were actually locked. There's the back door, through which Benjamin escaped when he first heard the shots.
The doors are locked. That's right.
I couldn't tell at first. I thought it was a shadow.
I thought it was Sue, because I was telling the dude that had the sniper. I was like, hey man, is that door swinging open? I was like, is he? He probably left that open for us to come in.
He was probably an employee.
That's what I was saying.
According to the cops, this door might have been unlocked, a way of getting into the bank and surprising Zephen.
So 5 people shot?
Supposedly 5 dead.
Dead? I'm pissed. We should have gone in. I mean, we can't change anything.
Above our pay grade.
I understand that. Because the lives are on the line. It looks like he shot 5 people.
Radio transmissions. There's 2 of them breathing. That's you breathing, you don't go in.
There's just no time for constitution to go. This is it. It's done.
Their frustration is one-sided, and it's clear that Zephen was hoping SWAT would kill him in the crossfire. There's also no guarantee that any of the victims would have survived. But as the police investigate this shocking, seemingly motiveless shooting, it will become clear that institutional failure is a thread that runs through this case from its very beginning.
A 21-year-old is in custody this morning, accused of killing 5 people, then calling police to tell them what he'd done.
This is an individual that needs to face very swift and exacting justice.
Police say this is the man behind the massacre, Zephen Xaver.
I have been over there on barbecues with my daughter. We've grilled out together. We've eaten together. No, nothing at all. Not even a tiny, teeny little bit would it have even remotely have crossed my mind at all.
The police and the FBI spend the rest of the day making victim identifications, devastating 5 different families. Each had been hoping against hope that though their relative had been in the bank that day, they'd been fortunate enough to escape. But these 5 women were the unlucky ones. The police sit down to interview Zephen. There's no denying what he's done, but maybe it will bring the victims' families some small element of closure if they can learn why. Like before, the investigators begin by establishing some rapport before reading him his rights.
You okay?
As good as I can.
Okay. Have you lived here in Sebring your whole life, Mr. Xaver? Where are you from?
Indiana. Plymouth.
How long have you been here in Sebring?
I don't know. Not even a year.
Zephen was born on April 2nd, 1997. This year, he'll just be turning 22. Originally from Indiana, his troubled youth led him to living with his mother in Florida.
What brings you to Sebring? Why did you move here?
This place, not knowing anybody, that would help.
Do you have other family here?
Just my mother.
He has a bad relationship with his father back in Indiana, who drives trailers for a living. He's left one younger brother back there. He says he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother's new boyfriend either, who doesn't work. His mom's the primary breadwinner, working for a reupholstery company, and on January 23rd, she was setting out for the airport, and she'd be gone for a week, leaving her son alone and with nothing to do.
So do you currently have a job?
No.
He previously had a job in Sebring, however, working at, of all places, the prison at Avon Park. Like he said on the phone to the 911 dispatcher, he was working there right up until 2 weeks prior.
I thought that it would be a good spot that did exactly that. Gave me a chain of command that told me exactly what to do, when to do it. And it did, but it didn't.
You went through the corrections academy? Are you a certified corrections officer?
I was 2-3 months away from going. There was a wait time.
And you're no longer employed there?
As soon as they started telling me I hurt the inmates, I got out and told them I couldn't keep bringing stuff to work, like from home, and it's basically what I was doing. And I want them to think that I was trying to go there to hurt people.
So the voices were telling you to hurt inmates?
Working as a corrections officer puts you in position of power over some violent but also vulnerable people. Maybe it's lucky he got out of the job when he did, but he had to find another outlet.
What do you like to do when you're for hobbies in your off time? What do you do?
Keep myself busy. Music, video games, reading. Anything to keep me out of my own head.
Is there any particular type of music that you like?
Classical. Beethoven, Bach, and Celtic. Stuff to calm me down, not excite me.
What have you been spending the most of your time doing for the last week and a half to 2 weeks?
Listening to music and playing games, trying to get everything out of my head and get back to being, well, sunny, normal. It was getting worse each day, but nothing helped.
You've told me that a couple times. Why do you keep yourself calm, or why do you keep yourself from being excited?
Because as soon as I get excited or happy or something happens, voices in my head start telling me to do bad things again.
Okay. What do these voices tell you?
Hurt people, kill people, kill myself.
Is it always the same voice?
There's at least 5.
How long have you been hearing these voices for?
Since I was 11. Sometimes it's as simple as go push this person, and go smack, hit, pull someone's hair, spit on them, do something to make their life hell. Other times it's as bad as today.
Have you ever actually did what they told you to do?
Only once. When I was in the behavioral health center, I beat a guy up because he kept saying something really bad to me, and it kept exciting me, pissing me off. She told me to beat him to a bloody pulp, but luckily there was a couple adults who jumped on me before I could hurt him too bad.
Zephen reveals that he spent time in a behavioral health center back in Plymouth, Indiana. His first time was when he was 15, and then again when he was 16.
When I was 15, I had called the suicide hotline as I was on the roof of my dad's old house with a rope, getting ready to kill myself. But the first time I got put through the behavioral health center. My first time was for depression and suicidal depression, so it was 2, maybe 3 weeks, followed by counseling and medication.
Are you currently on medication?
I stopped taking it when I was 17 and haven't taken any since.
He's previously had help for his evident mental health problems, but recently he hasn't reached out for support.
When's the last time you went and seen a doctor about these, or spoke to anybody about these voices and these things going on with you?
I never really talked to anybody about the voices. I just told them I had homicidal ideation, that I had thoughts about killing people. I didn't tell them about the voices. I didn't want anybody to know about them. Everything's been crazy enough.
You understand, in order for people to help you, you have to be honest. And if they would have known about these, maybe that's something they could have helped you with.
The same as the dispatcher asking why Zephen didn't tell his mom he'd quit his job. It's clear that he's aware enough of what's going on with him to try to hide it. And if he hadn't hidden it, who knows what might have happened instead. But he didn't tell anybody about the voices, and he woke up on January 23rd with them encouraging him to kill.
Tell me about this morning. What happened? Did you sleep last night?
3 hours.
Did you talk to anybody?
Until about 9. A buddy of mine on my Xbox. I played a game for a little bit, and then I told him that I had to go because things were getting a little loud in my head, and I was just trying to kind of go off to a quieter place. It was getting louder and louder.
That's the voices. Can you remember what they were telling you?
They've been telling me to do it for over a week when they've gotten me to buy the gun. And the vest and all the ammo. And I tried to see if I couldn't go to a range and spend all the ammo, so I didn't have anything to do anything, even if they told me to. Every time that I get myself around to go do it, I just got too loud in my head and I couldn't take it anymore, so I ended up just going back to my room and they quiet back down.
It's not just today. The voices have told him to premeditate this crime by going out and buying a gun, a bulletproof vest, and ammunition.
Where did you buy the gun at?
Boom Booms here in Sebring, 3 days after I quit my job at the prison.
He bought the gun and ammo for it. Then on Monday, he came back for a bulletproof vest. When buying the gun, he had to fill out a background form.
Did you tell the truth?
For the most part. I didn't say that I'd been administered into a mental treatment center or anything because I tried to leave it in the past.
Did you think if you answered that yes, that you would be ineligible for a gun?
I figured people around there would figure out that I've been in that type of place and that I would no longer get jobs and get treated like I did back in Indiana.
Why did you want a gun?
I hunted while I was in Indiana. I've always been around.
That's not a hunting gun.
I know.
You know, that's a rifle or something. This is something else.
I wanted something that I could go do recreationally as a hobby.
This is a contradiction, and the investigators pick up on it. First, he said the voices told him to buy the gun. Then he said he wanted to own the gun for himself, to occupy his time.
Wanted it after they mentioned it because I figured that they didn't think it through. I could use it to get some aggravation out. Go to a range and I could shoot at some targets.
Well, I can tell you what I think, but I think you already know what I think.
Well.
Zephen is attributing his actions to the voices, from buying the gun to leaving the house that morning to walking into the bank and opening fire. But did he have some measure of control?
What happened before you left? What made you leave?
It kept getting louder and they kept saying to leave. So then I finally got to the car and was pulling out of the driveway and they stopped yelling. I've never done anything anywhere near. So I figured I'd just drive and calm down. When I was younger, my dad and I got into a really heated argument and he kicked me out. That night I drove my car that I had at the time and just drove. Yeah, it worked. I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't hurt myself. I just drove. I figured that would happen again. It didn't.
But leaving his empty house with a loaded gun in the car was always going to be more dangerous than simply staying at home.
So before you got in the car to drive, how did the gun and the vest get in the car?
I put it on before I left. It was the first thing they told me to do. I thought maybe they wanted me to just kill myself. As we're getting closer to the bank, the voices started to pick back up and started yelling again. Told me to pull over and stop.
And once you got in the bank parking lot, what happened?
Sat there for a while. Like forever. Trying to stop myself.
This is when the witness going in and out of the bank saw him. He was sitting there, apparently trying to talk himself down from an act of mass murder. But he failed.
So you walked into the bank?
I was talking to the bank teller and I pulled the gun out and I told her, by stepping out from behind the counter, all of you, I told them to get up against the wall. They didn't argue, they didn't listen and walked. I asked who locked the doors. I locked the doors. I was going to lay on the ground. I don't like hurting people. They told me to shoot. It got to the point where I was aiming at them. I had my finger off the trigger. I didn't want to shoot.
What were the ladies doing?
Asking me why. Just aiming. Didn't think that. When they told me to shoot them, and I I put my finger on the trigger. Pulled. I started crying. Shoot me.
Okay, dude.
Until I stopped hearing movement. I knew I did something horrible. I just walked away and got on my knees. They called the cops. And I told them I just killed 5 people. I'd done something horrible. I wanted to die. I deserved to die. And then I saw the police outside. Kept shooting until they stopped. After the first shot, they started crying. And one lady looked at me. I just tried to not look.
He opened fire only at the provocation of the voices in his head, or so he tells the investigators. They ask him about his experience with firearms.
I fired pistols, shotguns, rifles, muzzleloaders. I shot an M4 at basic
military?
training in the military.
So you was in the military also?
No. I was in basic and got sent home medically. I turned 18 or 19 while I was there. Everything was fine when I was there. Then 3 guys threatened to jump me and kill me in the shower, and then yelling again, and I said something I shouldn't.
Zephen started basic military training at Fort Leonard Wood when he was 18. It was going okay for the first month or so, before he had an altercation with some fellow recruits. He told a drill sergeant that some guys were pouring coffee into their canteens, which wasn't allowed. According to Zephen, they weren't punished, but as a result, they began to pick on him anyway, waking him up late and hiding his boots. He says they also threatened him.
Like, you're lucky we don't take you into the latrine and beat your ass. And I'm like, okay, you want to take me into the latrine to beat my ass, and I want to shove the broomstick up your ass, but I'm not doing it, am I? And I was saying it like a joke. And they went and told the drill sergeant. I got pulled over to have me mentally checked for fitness. And she was like, go ahead and call the captain and tell you you're done, you're out. That was it, because that's technically impalement.
The investigators find it hard to believe that that's all it takes to get kicked out of the military. His discharge is listed as a medical discharge, implying that when he was examined, they found that something was wrong. And there's another witness with a different side of the story to tell. This is Alexandra Gerlach. She's 21, and until recently, she was Zephen's girlfriend. They first met at the Behavioral Health Center in Plymouth when they were both 15. They struck up a relationship, but it was toxic from the very beginning. Zephen was dangerously suicidal, and she asked him to promise her that he wouldn't do anything to hurt himself. From that moment on, she says he came up with a different idea, that if he couldn't kill himself, then he would kill others. He told her he was having dreams about murder. It got to the extent that he had a dream about hurting his classmates at high school, and he told a school counselor about it. He was kicked out of school as a result. He was around 17. Zephen doesn't describe this incident to the investigators. He just talks generically about bullies.
Do your parents know about the voices? You ever discussed it with them ever?
I voiced my dislike of people and how I wish I could do bad things to some people, but I just shrugged it off and just...
What type of people?
People who just did things that made my life hell. Bullies just going out of their way to do something to just fuck me over. I was a bully throughout school, and then kept failing.
He paints a picture of himself as an outcast.
What was wrong with your old place?
I Everybody knew me. Everybody knew I'd been in behavioral health centers. Everyone knew that I was just the weird kid. I was the weird guy. And I didn't like the attention. I don't fit in anywhere.
Alex, who'd also undergone mental health treatment, felt like a kindred spirit. But Zephen was beginning to scare her. When he joined the military in 2016, he told her he was doing it because there he could kill people and get away with it. And when he was kicked out, he told her it was because he'd threatened to kill another soldier in his squad. The last time Alex spoke to Zephen was the week before the shooting. She says he sent her a photo of a handgun he'd bought. She asked him why he'd bought it. He told her, because I just wanted one. Though they'd been in mental health treatment together, and so he shouldn't feel stigmatized or crazy, he didn't mention the voices at all. This isn't the only witness with damning things to say about him. A woman who met him in boot camp, Erica Cheviot, says he liked to talk about Satan and that he seemed to enjoy scaring people. He once passed her a note he'd written on a weatherproof notepad that he had homicidal feelings. She wrote him back that the military wasn't a good place for him and he needed to go to the medic and self-report. Having failed in the military, he continued to seek positions of power where violence could easily be a part of the job. In June 2018, less than a year before the bank shooting, he submitted an application to the Sebring Police Department. He was unsuccessful, which is when he applied to become a corrections officer instead. Around this time, Erica got back in touch with Zephen to find out how he was doing. Not well was the answer. She says he told her he wanted to hold up a bank and he wanted the police to shoot him so they would look like heroes. She says he told her he wanted to do it on a Wednesday or a Friday. That fateful January 23rd was a Wednesday. Erica went to her local police station in Michigan to report this. She knew he'd had basic military training and that he'd expressed homicidal feelings before, so she was scared that it wasn't necessarily an empty threat. But the cops talked to Zephen's mom and elected not to investigate any further. Zephen had been dating another girl, Imani Davis, who he met online, until 2018. She was still in high school, and their relationship was mostly long distance. They used to talk about suicide together. On January 23rd, he'd gotten back in touch with her, uncharacteristically excited. At 8:30 a.m., he wrote, "This is the best day of my life." She tried to wheedle the reason out of him, but he held firm. At 9 a.m., he said, "I am thinking about horrible things, and I'll tell you around noon, so 3 hours." True to his word, at 12:14, he told her why he was so delighted. "I am dying today." Horrified, she asked, "Why would you even message to tell me that?" He replied, "Because I'm an asshole who enjoys hurting people." At 12:30, 5 minutes before he entered the bank, he said, "But the fun part, right? The fucking cliche cincher is that I'm not going out alone. I'm taking a few people with me because I've always wanted to kill people. So I'm going to try it and see how it goes. Watch for me on the news." Was it the voices directing him to say these things? Or are they a clue to the truth here? That really he was just satisfying a selfish fantasy when he opened fire in the bank that day. The investigators bring this up.
Unfortunately, we've talked to a few people, and do you remember making statements that you would have made a good school shooter in the past?
I don't remember making it now.
Tell me about the text messages that you sent to Imani Davis, that you were going to go kill people and kill yourself. What about those messages?
I was just sitting in the car.
So while you were in the car, you knew in your mind what you were going to go do when you walked in that bank. You knew when you got out of that car, you were going in there with a purpose to kill people.
There's no question about it. These killings were premeditated. He was even wearing a specific t-shirt while he carried them out.
What's your shirt say?
Yeah, look, I've had that since I got out of basic.
And what's it mean?
I don't know, I just like the shirt.
It's an awful coincidence, if that's what it is. And Zephen is aware of how he's supposed to be coming across.
What do you think should happen to somebody that did this?
They should be euthanized. They should be buried in the prisons. Parents should be able to come in and beat you to death, in my mind. You're taking away their loved ones, taking away their mother, their daughter, sons.
He seems remorseful. But how remorseful can he really be, the investigators questioned, when he allowed this to happen?
You are old enough and wise enough to know you have voices. You know how to control them, you know how to keep them at bay, and you know what they do to you. You're smart enough to know how to get help. You've got help in the past. You called a hotline. But today you didn't want help.
Zephen is charged with 5 counts of premeditated homicide murder. In 2023, he pleads guilty, but the question remains, will he be given the death penalty? In 2024, he undergoes a sentencing trial. The court hears from various witnesses and professionals, including a licensed psychiatrist who analyzes the recording of the 911 call and concludes that Zephen does not appear to be experiencing auditory hallucinations throughout. His defense team presents his history of mental illness, a benign brain tumor, and his embrace of Christianity behind bars as mitigating factors. But members of the victims' families also get to speak, including the daughter of bank teller Marisol Lopez.
You always wanted to achieve your sadistic dreams of killing innocent people. And now everyone you hurt has to deal with the consequences.
In the end, Zephen will face the consequences too. Following the Parkland High School shootings in 2018, in which 17 people were killed, a new law was introduced in Florida to enable the death penalty to be applied following a jury vote of only 8-4 rather than unanimous. The Parkland shooter could not be sentenced to death, despite a 9-3 vote. The new law is designed to prevent this kind of situation, though its critics have called it unconstitutional. Zephen receives the same vote, but under this new law with a far more severe result. The jury votes 9-3 in favor of the death penalty. Today, he sits on death row, with his sentence awaiting an automatic appeal. But there's no question about what he's done, or the trials his victims' families will have to endure, piecing the shards of their lives back together. What do you think about this horrifying story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, keep up with our channel, and we'll see you very soon on the Decoder.